Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. Lately I've made a few videos about how to farm certain materials in Destiny, things like legendary shards, upgrade materials, and so on. One comment that I keep seeing in all of those videos is, I'm good on all these, what I can't keep is Glimmer. I keep running out of Glimmer. I need Glimmer. So, here we go. Here's your Glimmer farming video. Before we get started though, I do want to let you guys know that these numbers that I'm about to throw at you do not include having a ghost shell that gives you increased Glimmer drops, or any kind of consumable that increases the chance of you getting extra Glimmer. These are just flat baseline numbers that everybody will be able to experience without having to add anything to it. It should go without saying though, if you are trying to farm Glimmer, you should absolutely be using those consumables and those ghost shells. But for the purposes of this video, we're keeping it base. So let's start by getting the most obvious one out of the way, and that is our boy Spider. You can head to the Tangled Shore and you can purchase Glimmer directly from Spider in one of two ways. Way number one is 10,000 Glimmer for 10 legendary shards. Way number two is 10,000 Glimmer for 20 planetary materials. Now, keep in mind that Spider sells planetary materials for legendary shards. Or you get 5 planetary materials for 1 legendary shard, so 20 planetary materials is only 4 legendary shards. So, if you purchase your Glimmer when he is trading it for a planetary material, it is costing you 4 legendary shards for 10,000 Glimmer, as opposed to 10 legendary shards when he sells it for Glimmer directly. I would definitely wait for a day to trade materials with him, because you are saving 6 legendary shards for every 10,000 Glimmer. Now, if you do not have the legendary shards to do this, I've got some other alternatives for you. You can dismantle unwanted items, things like blue quality weapons and gear, things like shaders, things like transmat effects, exotic and legendary equipment such as ghost shells, ships, sparrows. All of these, when dismantled, will give you back some Glimmer. You can also head back to the Tangled Shore and pick yourself up some of Spider's wanted bounties. There are 3 tiers to his bounty, some that give you 3,000 Glimmer, some that give you 7,500 Glimmer, and one that gives you 15,000 Glimmer. You will need ghost fragments from the Tangled Shore in order to purchase these bounties, and you can do them every week on all 3 of your characters. It's not account-wide, it is character-based. And on the subject of bounties that give you Glimmer, there are 4 sets that you can pick up each week in the tower that will give you some Glimmer back. Now, I want to point out that I am excluding seasonal bounties here because I want this video to be persistent past a specific season. So, for that reason, we're only looking at established tower vendors. So, first and foremost, Ada, over there in the Annex, gives you 2 weekly bounties that each grant you 2,500 Glimmer. Zavala has 2 weekly bounties that give you 5,000 Glimmer apiece, so 10,000. Lord Shax has the same as Zavala, 2 weekly bounties, each one granting you 5,000 apiece. And Drifter is no different. He also has 2 weekly bounties that give you 5,000 Glimmer each. And lastly, the Gunsmith's 2 weekly bounties also grant you 5,000 Glimmer. So, if you were to do all 5 sets of your tower weekly bounties, that is 45,000 Glimmer each week that you can get on your character just from doing stuff that you're probably going to be doing anyway. So these are very important to keep in mind. It's also worth noting that while you're completing these bounties, the end rewards from playlist activities, this is Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible, grant you about 2,500 to 2,700 Glimmer for a completion. This does not include the enemies that you'll be killing along the way. This is going to increase your numbers drastically. This is just the very end mission complete reward. It ranged from 2,500 to 2,700 for me. Now, I also want to point out that these are viable options of farming Glimmer. If you just have some time to kill and you want to go sit in a playlist, I would recommend Gambit. There were some Gambit matches where a single match of classic Gambit that took me 12 to 13 minutes, I was getting 8,000 to 9,000 Glimmer from my 2,500 at the end of the match, in addition to all of the high power enemies that I was killing that were also granting me Glimmer. You're also getting Glimmer from your teammates getting kills, and if you put on a Gambit Ghost Shell that has Glimmer Farmer or something like that, then you're going to get even more back. As much as I hate Gambit, it is a very good Glimmer farming activity. Another really good activity for farming Glimmer is going to be raids. Doesn't matter which one, Raids typically give around 1,000 Glimmer per encounter completion. So something like Last Wish, you could walk out of there with, say, 15, 20,000 Glimmer, more than what you came in with in about 45 minutes with a competent team. And again, if you have it, throw on a ghost shell that gives you even more, and you'll get even more back. See how that works? So now I'm going to throw some numbers at you. If you pick up a planetary material in a patrol zone, you can expect to get 20 to 30 Glimmer back, except for Tangled Shore and Dreaming City. They give you 0 for some reason. If you are picking up patrol chests in various patrol zones, everywhere will give you about 380 to 440 Glimmer, whereas on the Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City, I was consistently getting 100, but would occasionally get around 400 as well. Not sure why these two destinations are different. If you are into doing patrol missions, the Dreaming City is your best bet. It was giving me 800 Glimmer regardless of what type of patrol mission it actually was. Every other destination was giving me around 400 Glimmer regardless of which type of mission it was. If you take out a high value target in patrol and collect its chest, you can expect to get 700 to 800 Glimmer on every destination except on Mercury. On Mercury, those high value targets are worth about 1,500 Glimmer. When you open a Lost Sector chest in the Dreaming City or the Moon, you can expect to get 37 or 3,800 Glimmer. Everywhere else, you can expect to get 1,800 Glimmer when you open the chest, but it is worth noting that this does have some kind of a cooldown. After you do a certain amount, for me, it was typically between 4 and 6, so that's why I say for the first 5, you will get hit with a cooldown and you will stop getting 1,800, for example, in the EDZ, and will start getting 300 to 400 each time you open it. Whenever this happens, if you are farming Lost Sectors, just leave and go do something else for about 30 minutes and then come back to your Lost Sector, and it should have reset the cooldown, and you will be back to getting 3,700 in the Dreaming City and the Moon, and 1,800 everywhere else. And lastly, if you complete a heroic public event on Mercury and open both chests at the end, you can expect to get around 3,300 Glimmer, whereas everywhere else, every other destination's heroic public event chest will give you 2,500 Glimmer. So, I know that's a lot to take in, but let's try to process all that and see if we can form a farming route, so to speak. If you are looking to just farm straight up Lost Sectors, I would recommend going to the Dreaming City because you can just pass right past all the enemies, go straight to the boss, kill it, open the chest, go do something else. If you're looking to do patrols, I would also recommend doing your patrol missions in the Dreaming City because they give you more Glimmer than everywhere else. If you are looking to farm high value targets and things like that, then I would recommend going to Mercury. Keep in mind, on Mercury, you also have the advantage of the Sagira shell, which is going to increase all of your Glimmer gains. That shell alone is enough to put Mercury very high up on the Glimmer farming list, but the reason it's not king is because Mercury only has one public event and one Lost Sector, and you will hit the cooldowns on both of them very quickly. I honestly believe that your best bet to just go and waste a couple of hours farming for Glimmer specifically is going to be in the EDZ. Here are my reasons. Number one, right there in Trossland, you have the Lost Sector directly underneath the church that you can go down and kill the fallen captain, collect his chest very quickly. You can farm that until you hit that cooldown, and once you start getting only 3 to 400 Glimmer per drop, then it's time to go do public events. Then it's time to go do patrols. Then it's time to go pick up, chests and kill whatever high value targets you have in the area. I did this loop, just constantly picking up patrol missions, going to every public event that I could find, killing everything. Keep in mind, you're going to get a lot of Glimmer from the enemies that you kill too. And the Fallen Glimmer extraction one, for example, has a lot of enemies. So you're going to get a lot of Glimmer from that. Over the course of 1 hour, me farming the EDZ, doing all of these things that I just mentioned, I got about 40,000 Glimmer. That is very, very good. And keep in mind, this is without using a ghost shell, so it has potential for even more. Drop a comment in the box below, let me know what your favorite Glimmer farm is, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. If you enjoyed this one, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.